everyone, and welcome to Bottom Line with Roni and Byron. We have some news to get to you, and we're going to start with the proposal of a new liquor and convenience store in Jackson County.
And for national news, we're going to follow up on an old story about Netflix and how they outline how they're going to end their password sharing.
Then we'll switch to sports and give you the update on the newly promoted high school head football coach at Marietta High School.
And for entertainment, we're going to talk about Adele and how she reveals that she and Rich Paul have moved in together as she shares some photos.
And then our relationship tea topic today will be, how are you good at keeping your word? So Byron, let's get started. We're going to start with the proposal of a new liquor and convenience store in Jackson County. This came up on Tuesday night at the Jackson County Board of County Commissioners meeting, and the owner, whose name is Shilpin DeLaw, he is actually proposing a new liquor and convenience store right at Peacock Bridge Road and 71, which is close to the Calhoun County line. Now, I'll just give you a quick synopsis of what happened. He made the proposal. This has been in the works for a while. The county commissioners voted on it. Before they voted, they did hear from residents in that area. A lot of them spoke against it, and then there were a few that spoke for it. But the vote was 3-2 against it, and so Mr. DeLaw will not be able to put the new proposed liquor and convenience store at that location. And I will tell you this, Byron, most people were, it seemed like they're really against the liquor part of the business, not the actual convenience store and the gas station. But the part of the liquor store was really what kind of made people shy away from this idea. There were some talks about, where it's located is in the residential area. Like I said, it's on Peacock Bridge Road and State 71, which is going, towards that Calhoun County line. But there were residents there, and they were, really concerned about, if people are turning into the proposed area, light shining into their home. There's a whole lot of concerns. But Byron, this is what's interesting. Now, it was voted down 3-2. The commissioners that was for it was County Commissioner Donifro and County Commissioner Pate. They were for it, and the remaining 3 was against it. And Byron, Donifro made a good point about we have to decide, are we for growth in Jackson County, or are we not for growth in Jackson County? Because he made a point that this proposal did meet the comprehensive plan for the county. What do you think about that?
It's a double-edged sword here. So as a resident, I would look at property value. I would look at, I understand that concept. To be honest, I really didn't buy into the lights and that says, because people, it seems like they want growth, but then they don't want it when it comes to them, comes to their corner. And it's like, people didn't want the Dollar General on the corner of Old US Road and what is that?
Caverns.
Yep, Caverns Road. And a lot of people didn't, before time, way back, they didn't want Walmart. It was said, I don't know how true it was, but it was said that they didn't want Walmart, in Jackson County. So it's one of those things where, like, Commissioner Donifro has a point. At the same time, you got to follow with, what the constituents want. But a lot of, sometimes, I get it, liquor stores, but I don't. If you really look at the three liquor stores that I know of in Marietta, they're all centrally located right on or close nearby on Highway 90. But I don't know. I'm big on growth, but I can understand both sides. But you gotta give and take here, and it brings a lot. I don't see the negative side to it, other than worrying about that property value being an issue if you're a resident of that area.
Well, they were worried about the type of ground also that would.
But here's the thing that I would do, and I would suggest that the commissioners do. There needs to be more transparency. There needs to be more input from the community. What do you want? There needs to be, a real reach out to find out what type of growth the citizens of Jackson County, especially in that area, what do you want? Before you just start, because it's going to keep going back and forth, You're doing some, and then people get burnt out. So it would be good to actually have, Bay County has done it, other counties, other areas have done it, to see exactly what type of growth the people want, and then move forward with that. But you're not going to please everybody, but it would help to kind of give a general and then move forward with what you're doing. I think people would buy into that more, rather than feeling like they're being surprised and now they just automatic, because a lot of people don't like change if they don't see it coming. It makes kind of sense.
Yeah. Well, one gentleman I think did, when he was speaking, did suggest that they put some type of bait store there, I guess.
Yeah, but that's
yeah. But I want to say that this owner, his name is, and I don't want to mess up his name, but it's Shilpan DeLaw. And Mr. DeLaw owns a lot of property in Jackson County. He owns the Lucky Lotto store going towards State Line. He owns the old Tim Flores. He owns the Alpha Co-op right down Pitt Avenue. There's a lot of property that he owns, but here's something interesting. Now, I did some digging, and it seems like it's a fact. Last year, the county gave the same owner 4.5 acres to build on south of Fire Station 2. Okay. Yeah. They gave him 4.5 acres, and they gave him that amount of property to build something. I think he sold them on, he was going to put like a gas station, a Chick-fil-A there. And so, with that, when you look at all the documents, he was supposed to have done, several things within a certain time frame. I think like within 60 days or something like that. Well, that time has lapsed. So my question when I was watching it, like, did y'all not question him on what did you do with the property that we gave you last year?
Because
right now is the only thing that looks like to me he's done is clearing the land. But there's no structure on there, and the documents clearly states he was supposed to do certain things within a certain time frame. So, that's a piece that I was just questioning. Why didn't they ask him about that? So what are you doing with the property that we gave you? So I don't know if people know this, but the county commissioners now are on this kick where they are giving land to people if you have a business idea that they think will be, I guess, profitable to the county. So you guys may want to call them and find out more about that process of how do you get free land, because they're giving it away. And certainly they will open this up to anybody, because they can't pick and choose who to give it to, right? So if they're giving it to this guy for, I'm going to say, I think the documents, the deed say $10. He got $10. That was his pay for 4.5 acres. So certainly they have to do it for everybody, not just for one or two people. And one other thing they do that I don't know if people know about, they will, give people, the rights to a certain property. Say, for instance, over by Family Dollar, there's like 100 acres that really one gentleman have the rights to. And that means that if somebody want to come in on that 100 acres and say they want to build something, they have to ask that gentleman first, because the county commissioners gave that gentleman that right. And so I'm sure that was in exchange for something. I'm sure the gentleman did something for the county, but just let you know how the county commissioners are proceeding, how they're trying to negotiate. And so let's open up this for everybody to know that this is some of the options that you have if you're a business owner, that you should go in the county, that you can go to them and ask them about land. What do you think about that, Byron? Did you know that?
Yeah, here's the thing. And I know a lot of citizens are gonna feel the same way. I know there's gonna be some that don't. But I don't think, from a business model, from a economic model for Jackson County, my vision for Jackson County is not more gas stations, working with business owners that have no marketing strategy, no outline that is really going to generate real growth, real jobs, real economic boosting opportunities for Jackson County citizens.
And that's
let's look at it. Let's look at it for what it is. Yeah, but here's the thing. This is my opinion. I don't even believe you need all of that. I don't believe the more you get 30, 40 people together, they're never going to come up with an idea. They're like warrant officers. No offense to warrant officers out there, but they're good idea fairies. And you end up not getting things done. I'm a person that like to get things done. While it's hot, let's work on it. If you can't go, you don't need 4 or 5 people to do it. If you can't go and reach out to industries, make your pitch. Jackson, it's not hard to pitch why coming to Jackson County and putting an industry in Jackson County is not a hard thing to do. Too many people are spending too much time.
Maybe a hard sell.
It's not a hard sell. Now I'll tell you this: it's a hard sell if you're gonna sit here and just give away land to people that now they have rights, and then when somebody want to come, they can't get it because you got to go through Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Exactly.
So here, and you're shooting yourself in the foot. Meanwhile, everybody around you are growing, and they're drawing. They're not drawing. They're drawing whales. They're drawing people that spending money. I mean, look. If he was supposed to put that Chick-fil-A, now the Funiac Springs has pulled that rat from under the rug, because now they can own up to the title that Chick-fil-A can say this is the only Chick-fil-A in between Tallahassee and Pensacola, and that could have been Jackson County.
But Chick-fil-A don't function like as far as how
I got you, but that's still, to me, that still ain't gonna bring no 200-300 jobs. So it's just one of them things where you're getting caught up in a lot of mess, and you're not getting
here's the problem. Here's the problem, what I think, Byron. So you got the county commissioners that's giving away the land, that's making these negotiations with different owners. Then you got the economic development committee that's going out and doing the pitches, trying to bring in multiple jobs. So you got two different things going on. To me, it doesn't seem like the county commissioners need to be in that role.
Remind you, economic development, they don't just they cover like more than just Jackson County.
Well, we have our own here. We have the Jackson County Economic Development Committee, and that's what they do. They go out and try to bring jobs here. But my point is, they're trying to, they're seeing the bigger picture. What you reference is absolutely true. You don't need to be working with different owners promising different, land to this one and that one. When let the Economic Development Committee do their job, and
let them do what they do.
Stay in your lane, Commissioner. Yeah, stay in your lane. You're causing
I know how to drive.
When I just put out there that people can come and ask you for land, that's probably what you're gonna get.
Yeah, that's another point to be made. No, if you're gonna hire people and have them in the positions, they're the subject matter experts. Let them do what they do. If you're gonna you don't need to undermine your people, and you don't need to step on them, because they're gonna get all the negative feedback, not you. Because I've dealt with it so many times. When the negative impact comes on you, then they brush it off to the economic development. Well, that's that. Well, hold on, you stepping on us. So yeah, you've got to let them do what they do, but it's gonna be hard if you're gonna step on them and undermine them at the same time.
Exactly.
It's and a lot of people don't know that. So I've been I've been in those circles, and people are like, well, what does the Economic Development Council do? Or what does da 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 do? And then they're tied with their hand behind their backs, trying the best they can. And a lot of people own these properties that are hard to deal with. They're not from this area. They don't really particularly care if it's not affecting their bottom line. Point taken. So I mean, and it's hard. It's hard for them to be able to make these deals and get things going. So, people gotta, that's why it's important to get to these meetings. Sometimes the big check and balance may be you, as the citizen.
That's the question. We gotta go. We gotta move on. But I want to say, so the bottom line again is, now the Special Commissioner Peacock did say to Mr. DeLaw that go back and try to tweak your plan, even though they voted against it. Go back, retweak it, talk to the residents and address some of their concerns. So there we go. All right, let me move on. I want to make sure people understand that the local and state news is brought to you by Brightway Insurance. Brightway Insurance is located at 2867 Caledonia Street in Marianna. You can give them a call for everything you need As far as insurance, you can call them at 850-633-3460. All right, Byron, I'm going to move on and just give some dates for graduation. We have graduation coming up, and the first one is May 17th, which is on Tuesday. Hope graduations at 10 a.m. That's Hope School. The Adult Education School graduations at 6 p.m. on that same day. And then Sneed's High School is at 8 p.m. So that is on Tuesday, May the 17th. You got Hope, Adult Ed, and Sneed's, okay? You got 10 a.m., 6 p.m., 8 p.m. Then you move on to May 19th, which is Thursday. You have Gracefield's is at 6 p.m. and Cottondale's is at 8 p.m. So that is on that Thursday, May the 19th. Graceville is at 6, Cottondale is at 8. And then you have May 20th, the very next day, that Friday. You have Jackson Alternative School is at 10 a.m. You have Malone is at 6 p.m. And then you have Mariana High School at 8 p.m. Last day of school is Wednesday, the 25th. So make sure everybody knows that. So speaking of school, I want to just also mention this. On May 24th, which is on a Tuesday, I believe, the Graceville School will have a meeting. The current school board member will be there, Mr. Benton, and some more staff to address the concerns of the citizens and residents there. There's a growing concern about Graceville School, and there's a meeting. So if you want to go to that meeting, it is going to be on the 24th at 4:30 at Graceville School. So make sure you attend that if you are interested or have a kid in that area. So they're trying to make sure that the school, continue to find a way to grow, because right now it's not. So that's Graceville School. And speaking of Graceville School, I did get a chance to speak to the candidate for School Board Member District 1, Cephas Granberry, and that's going to air on Wednesday. So we did talk about that situation as well. So make sure you tune in, watch our Facebook page to make sure you know what time it's going to air on Wednesday. So that's about Graceville School. Also, as far as the election, School Board Member District 1, there are now 2 people in that race. This week, Samantha Angerbrandt entered their race. So you have Samantha Angerbrandt, who used to work for Graceville News. You may know her from there, but she is running, and also Cephas Granberry is running as well. So we have an interesting race for Jackson County School Board Member District 1. And speaking of school, Byron, you are doing a tour in the school. So tell us about that.
Yeah, real quick. So back in 2019, October of 2019, I presented a resolution called Freedom Month resolution to the school board members, basically to use the month of May, which is the holidays of Armed Forces Day, Memorial Day, and Florida's Emancipation Day. Those dates all fall in the month of May, and utilizing that month to expand, enrich, and expound upon those holidays, and basically breaking down the what I call the value of freedom. And so I'm going on a tour. It's called the Freedom Month Celebration Tour to all the schools in Jackson County. I've talked to the principals, and it's a real motivating tour where I go and I explain what American freedom is, what the cost is of our freedom, and what the value is of our freedoms, and why being American is and American patriotism is so important. Those key elements and those fundamentals are not really being held, taught, and instituted in our schools to no fault of their own, because it's so much time and that they have an energy they have to put into just the basics of language arts and mathematics, and then standardized testing, and to get our kids at the levels they need. So I decided to step in and bring that element. So at the end of the day, I just want to be that cool, motivated, loud guy that gets the kids all pumped up, and bring in everything from local veterans, recruiters, the VFW, people like that, and let them, get a real feel, a real high energy, fun. And it's full of, this month I presented the entire school district with curriculum, activities, all type of fun activities. That the mindset is the same concept of a spirit week in school. Why do we have them? It's to build a pride and motivation in our own schools and our organizations, our institutions. So why don't we do this for our country? So that's the intent. I've spoke at Grand Ridge May 10th. and Malone yesterday. So I will be at Mariana K8, and here I'm posting up the rest of the dates for the tour. Mariana K8, May 17th at 9 a.m. Jackson Alternative will be May 18th. As you were, Mariana K8 will be May 17th at 9 a.m. Jackson Alternative will be May 18th at 9 a.m. Cottondale Elementary, May 18th at 1:30 p.m. Cottondale High will be May 20th on Emancipation Day at 10 a.m. Hope School will be May 23rd at 9:30 p.m. As you were a.m. And Sneeze High and Elementary, May 23rd at 1 p.m. So yeah, if you parents, please come out. And you know, your kids they're definitely gonna come home telling you about all the fun they had. So we're on now. Yeah.
Awesome. We have to post pictures when you as you're on your tour. Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's move on to our state news. Our state news is going to be about State Representative Ramon Alexander, who is the incoming leader of the Florida House Democrats. He has been accused by a former athletic employee at Florida A&M University of sexually harassing him, including groping him and sending sexually explicit video and photos of himself. So Byron, here we are. I think we've seen a similar movie played before. Up and coming politician that's really needed in our community falls prey to a situation that, you know, I'm saying fall prey, so I should fall prey to something that he's probably always have dealt with, but it's out in the open and people are, you know, aware of what has happened, and he has already announced that he will not seek re-election. Your thoughts?
Yeah, you know, we at the same time, a lot of this is alleged, but here's my thing, especially when it comes to politicians. Yeah, you know, male. Okay, so it is what it is. So male politicians, especially black male politicians, if you are, you know, bisexual, sexual, gay, that's those days where you're trying to hide your identity. You don't need to do that no more. And politically, it doesn't help you. By what really gets you is the fact that you broke the sanctity of the relationship and the marriage that you had with the person you were with. You know, I think Andrew Gillum came out and he was like he's bisexual, and my opinion was, no, you're not. You're married. You chose to be with that woman and for life, so you straight. But if it was an issue within the marriage and you couldn't be with it, no one would have been against you if you would have divorced and started anew in a relationship with a man. It would have been nothing negative on that side. The fact that you did all this behind that person's back and broke that trust, that's the bad part. You know, today's society, you don't have to do all that. And I don't know, it's coming a time where, you know, we're seeing too much of it happen on that side, and it's demoralizing, even for our youth, even for our young, you know, kids. It's like, man, who do they look to? And it's like we always say, stop looking to athletes and stop looking to rappers and entertainers, but there's no difference, you know. So it's like it's just a polish, it's just a fake, a mimic. So I mean, it's like one of my uncle he always tell me, and he told me one time, all you got to do is just try, you know, just try to do right, and everything will be all right. You know, when you get hit with these situations, just try, man, and you know, it's always going to be something come your way, you know, and it's always going to be tempting. It's always going to just try at that moment. If you just try, you'll be all right. But I don't know. It's you know.
In his statement, Alexander said he had a consensual adult relationship with a former family employee. However, the employee is saying they did not have a physical relationship, and that he rebuffed Alexander's sexual advances. So that's
once again, that either way, even if it was consensual,
you were involved.
You involved. That's an extramarital relationship that you're involved in. So once again, and you've polished yourself as this, you know, husband, family man, and you know, not your biggest worry is whether or not there's going to be a, I guess, criminal or civil action against you based on harassment or sexual assault or what have you. But at the end of the day, politically, you know, you pretty much shot yourself in the foot no matter how well you go. But people have come back from a lot of things, so you never know. Seems like Andrew Gillum is coming back in a way. So
Yeah.
Everybody's allowed that
This
opportunity
movie before, just to avoid the pitfalls. I mean, if you see
yeah,
them, just avoid it. If you
just try.
learn from other people's mistakes, that's what I.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta go. We have to go. So again, Ramon Alexander will not be running for re-election for the Florida House Representative.
Yeah.
All right, so our local and state news again was brought to you by Brightway Insurance. Brightway Insurance is located at 2867 Caledonia Street in Marianna. Call them from any insurance needs you may have. You can reach them at 850-633-3460. All right, what do you have for national news?
So for national news, I want to start by talking about People's Funeral Home because we care. We're here when you need us. Long Granbury Funeral Services Incorporated, doing business as People's Funeral Home. Marianna and Battle Mortuary, Panama City, offers services that is within the reach of all. The caring staff is available 24/7 when the need arises. Their services are designed to commemorate the life and remember at a price that is suitable for all. So please give Cephas and Gwen a call at 850-482-2233. Again, that's 850-482-2233, or simply stop by for more information. That's People's Funeral Home. So first, I want to follow up with the Netflix story. So Netflix outlines their timeline to end your password sharing. So before I put out that they was actually doing a kind of a test run in other countries where they're like, hey, we're not worrying about it. They full steam. So the streaming giant that trialing that basically what they're doing, they're gonna add a surcharge to any household that watch Netflix content using other household accounts. So it's basically gonna be like a extra charge. You'll have the option to add a kind of like the way Verizon, like phone companies do, if you want to add somebody to your plan, and it'll be like an extra surcharge. And this trial run seemed like it worked better in Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru, where it was $2.99 surcharge that was added to accounts that wanted to share their credentials outside of the household. So they're banking that this is going to happen. Now, to be perfectly honest, the only reason why Netflix is jumping out there and making this move is because, businesses are like sharks. When Netflix came out, it was brand new. They was the only ones doing this type of, the streaming online thing. And now companies like HBO, they're taking the game, because guess what? They can make their own original movies. So now Netflix is trying to do the same thing, but they realize that we got, a boatload of other subscribers that we can get. I don't know if it's gonna work for them, because I'm done. I'm out. Netflix already been coming up like 3 times since I first had my account. So we'll see how that works for them. But they've canceled a series of shows, and as well as some projects like the Prince Harry and Meghan Markle documentary we're working on, and series Tudlum or something. I think that was the name. So a lot of this, we'll see how it works out. But once again, the executives, they presume that, they bet that paying subscribers are worth the pain in the inevitable backlash. So they know it's a backlash coming, but they're willing to take that risk. So be on the lookout. No more sharing passwords, and it's not going to be next year. It's going to be pretty soon. So in my next story, yeah, you got to get your own, like that old commercial. No, my brother, you got to get your own. But in my next story, the U.S. drug overdose deaths reached an all-time high in 2021, the CDC says. So fentanyl continues to drive the majority of overdose deaths in the country. More than 107,000 Americans died from drug overdose last year, the highest annual death toll on record, the CDC says. These overdose deaths increased 15% in 2021, up from an estimated 655 fatalities the year prior. So a lot of this is the biggest groups that it's affecting is definitely the Native American community and African Americans. So while the overdose rate for African Americans has overtaken whites, so and this fentanyl is really what's getting people. So I will follow back up because that that also speaks to the death of Kevin Samuels, and it's hitting everybody. So this fentanyl is a huge problem, but they added that, like methamphetamines, they're also involved in a large number of deaths. So the biggest percentage increase in overdose deaths in 2021 was in Alaska, where deaths were up 75.3% compared to the previous year. So just more input, more would be, and they feel that more would be money would be spent with more education and more programs for addicted people suffering from addiction. So be on the lookout. And my last story, the Coast Guard Admiral approved to be the first woman to lead a military service. President Joe Biden picks the next Coast Guard Commandant, Admiral Linda Fagan, was confirmed this past Wednesday, clearing the way for her to become the first woman to be the top officer in one of the military services. Senate approved Fagan's promotion, along with those 5 other senior Coast Guard officers, by unanimous consent before joining for the day. She's got a lustrous career. She's well experienced. It goes way out there. She's previously served as Deputy Commandant for Operations, Policy, and Capability, and as Deputy Director of Operations with U.S. Northern Command. She's served on every continent and aboard the heavy polar icebreaker USCGC Polar Star. She's also the Coast Guard's first ever gold Ancient Trident, an award created in 2016 and given to the officer with the longest service in the Marine safety field. She, like I said, she has a great career, and kudos to her. So the first ever woman to lead a military service, Admiral Linda Fagan. So
impressive.
That is it for me. And before I step away, I want to talk again about People's Funeral Home. Because we care, we are here when you need us. Long Granbury Funeral Services Incorporated, doing business as People's Funeral Home, Mariana and Battle Mortuary, Panama City, offers services that is within the reach of all. Their caring staff is available 24/7 or when the need arises. Their services are designed to commemorate the life being remembered at a price that is suitable for all. So please give Cephas and Gwen a call at 850-482-2233. That's 850-482-2233.
All right, real good. We're going to move on to sports. We'll start with the new head coach for Mariana High School. Mariana High School has announced that Jack Glover will be the new athletic director and head football coach for the Bulldogs. He will be taking over for John Donaldson, who is moving on to be the assistant principal at Malone School. So Mariana High School will have a new head coach who is also the athletic director. And Jack Glover comes with a lot of experience. He used to be the assistant coach for the Bulldogs for the last 3 seasons, and he was the head coach for boys and girls weightlifting. So congratulations to Jack Glover. I'm going to move on to our another sports story, and we've talked about this in the past, the NIL agreements that's going on with a lot of the college athletes. That's the name, image, and likeness agreement, where they can go out and get endorsements. And so Deion Sanders have come out, Byron, and said that there's a problem because some of these kids are making just as much money as a professional athlete. And if that's the case, there's a problem because you're going to start acting like that. And when you know you put that much money in a young kid's hand, there's a problem. So he came out and said that this week, and I agree. What do you think? There should be a cap on it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously we knew that was coming. I think this will now drive more of a focus on what should have been happening for athletes when they came to the league. It's kind of, if you really think about it, it lays out a good plan because they're at college already. for money management, financial literacy, all of these type of things that NFL athletes should get when they come into the league. And, the minute they get injured or the minute they're, 10 years later, they're broke after a year being, retired. Maybe now it'll focus, it'll put a more focus on teaching them the right ways to manage and not get so caught up in, but once again, it's a hard thing to tell 18, 19, 20-year-old with, couple $1 million in endorsements, how to act with that money. But once again, it can open the door for something positive to happen if they do it the right way. But egos are definitely going to enlarge with, with this NIL deal. So I think, if we follow the path of what Dion is actually saying and trying to do, hopefully it'll turn a new leaf. But at the same time, I still see that NFL contracts are not. It's gonna be hard, because a lot of players even now they're starting to leave the league early. Yeah, they're realizing the impact that it's putting on their bodies, and a lot of cats are retiring early. They're not trying to do 15, 20 years. It's like 5 years, and they're like, yeah, I'm out. Yeah. So
I personally think there should be a cap on how much money they can make. But what Dion is suggesting, and I'll just read you what he said. He said, when you start paying athletes like they're professionals, you get athletes acting like they're professionals, and you don't have staffs large enough and equipped enough to handle a young man with money. Let me go deeper. Handle a young man that's making more money than some of the coaches on staff. So he's suggesting that they actually go out and hire qualified staff, to handle these young men with money. Because think about it, if you got a player who's making more money than the staff, you think he's gonna listen to him? Nah,
and that's the thing. They're gonna have entourages, and they're gonna have all this, and then they'll turn their game on, they'll turn their game off. Certain game, I'm hurt, and they'll value. Oh well, I'm not. You might have some that'll sell out a bowl game, because they know that the next step is to the league, and and that's the type of thing, like you said, they're gonna need. It's gonna, it's gonna be interesting how to. They got to,
because like I said, it's and a lot of them don't have any financial, training.
Nothing.
Know what to do. So I mean, I'm all for NIL. I love the idea from the beginning, but I do see they need to kind of, to me, put a cap on it, not just have people in place to deal with them, but I think they need to put a cap on it, because what's the incentive going pro if you're already making that type of money in college? So that's what I think. Anyway, so we did have there's an NBA legend that passed this week, Bob Lanier. Bob Lanier played for the Detroit Pistons for a while, and the Milwaukee Bucks, but he passed this past week. He was a center, and he died at the age of 73. So I just want to make people aware of that. So that's all I have for sports. What do you have for entertainment?
So for entertainment, real quick, I have the Adele. So the relationship with Adele and Rich Paul, a lot of people. So Rich Paul is real close, real tight friend with LeBron James, that tight knit group, and he's the head of Clutch Sports. So he's got a lot of big, players and big name clients. And he's always been a behind the scenes guy. But Adele and Rich Paul, they're taking their relationship to the next step. They've shared a beautiful series of photos via Instagram, showing a couple standing in front of their gorgeous white colored home. So they're basically saying, hey, they moving in together. They taking that step, which is kind of, it's crazy to see like huge, successful, rich people, putting and doing it in a big house. And it's kind of like the average person, they may, do it in an apartment or something like that. But it's cool, I say go ahead and do it. Right. You've been playing house for all this time. Just go ahead and get married, So are they this is going to be the married home, or they going to turn around and get another one? So anyway, more photos in the series show numerous adorable moments. Another photo showed Rich giving her a sweet smooch backstage and at an event. So she kind of showed pictures of the past and now this led up to their move in. So it's just cool to see, the genuine love and relationship that they have. So Adele and Rich Paul, a lot of people didn't even know, that union with there was even, a thing there. And to come to find out they really have a lot in common. So him being such a, he may be a behind the scenes guy, but he's known to be a very shrewd and very strong businessman when it comes to getting things done. And they say Adele is like a very close match personality wise. So that's cool. In my next story, Kevin Samuels, the polarizing YouTube and Instagram personality, dies at 57. He was famously known. I've seen a lot of Kevin Samuel videos, very blunt style, lifestyle advice aimed at Black men and women. Drew a legion of admirers, followers, and a chorus of detractors who condemned his views. He had a lot of people that didn't like his views, but it is true. It came out earlier this week, and at first I thought it was, just something fake or a joke or something like that, because he does have a lot of people that don't like his views. But it was confirmed that he died on Thursday in Atlanta. His death was announced by two friends and fellow YouTube personalities, Dennis Sperling and Melanie King. So Sperling, who was a lawyer, identified himself as a family spokesman in the Instagram post. And he apparently, it was said he was apparently overdosed on cocaine laced with fentanyl. That's
There's that word again. There's that word again. Yeah.
So that was my backtrack. So please, people, you've got to, be careful. These substances and this fentanyl thing is not a game. And this information is kind of been coming out there, but it's sad to see him go. And it's sad to see anybody. At the end of the day, no one wants to see somebody go like that. And it was rumored that his mother actually found out on social media. So, that's sad. But at the end of the day, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. And hopefully some of the positive things, it might have struck a little hard and harsh for our, men and women, but take the good with the bad, and he did have some good points out there. So take that as his legacy and not the subsequent thing that took his life.
That's it.
And in my last story, I know it's made a lot of headlines, but Naomi Judd died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And Ashley Judd actually discovered her, and she spoke to, I think it was the Today Show, and actually, just talked about the experience, what happened, and about her mother suffering from depression and real mental health issues. So it just comes to show you. Yeah, it just comes to show you, how serious mental health is.
Yeah.
And people, if you're ever trying to figure out like how could somebody want to take their life, and you look at their lifestyle, depression is very real. And we all go through certain things, whether it's a death in the family, loss of a job, and we go through depression. But just imagine for a second, just imagine that lowness that you felt in that moment, that day, that week. Imagine feeling like that for months, for years. It by that point, the thought of taking your own life it probably feels, relief. And that's why it's so important. That's why it's so important to go and speak to a professional, go and get help, because that is not normal. That's not a good thing to be having that down feeling like that for months and years at a time. It can weigh heavy on the mind. It can weigh heavy on the spirit. So you got to get the help you need to whatever sources you do, but you can't do it alone.
Right.
And it just shows, it doesn't matter how successful you are. It doesn't matter how many awards you have. It doesn't matter how many thousands, millions of people are crazy about you. How you see yourself and how your own mental clarity is most important. So rest in peace, Naomi Judd.
Yeah.
That's it for me for entertainment.
All right, we're going to move on to our relationship tea topic. And today our topic is keeping your word. You know, back in the day, and people still say this phrase, your word is your bond. So I think that's lacking in today's society, Byron. I'm just going to be honest with you. I've had several recent situations where people will say something or tell you something, and they just will not do what they say. They don't follow through. And I see there's a character flaw. Like you cannot say something or tell somebody you're going to do something and not follow through. Have you had that experience?
All the time. And in my experiences, you know, I'm pretty much a one-man show with a lot of things. So I may, you know, with me, I may not, if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. I may not talk to you every day, you know, because I got a lot of things going on. But at the end of the day, I come through and like you say, you know, your word is your bond. If you don't, as a man, I just feel this way. Call it toxic, call it whatever. But as a man, I feel like you can't even call yourself one if you can't do what you say you're gonna do. Don't put it out there. Don't say you're gonna do something and you're not gonna do it. Nobody's gonna fault you to say, hey,
I can't do it.
I can't do it, or but don't just sit there and say, hey, I'm gonna do something, or I agree to do this, or whatever the case may be, and you don't follow through, because now that's the only thing you got at the end of the day is your word.
Exactly.
And if you ain't got that,
you don't have anything.
No, you don't. And that's just me. I really, it gets under my skin, you know, when people can't do that, and you know, but it's the thing about it, eventually that catches up with you, because eventually the tide will turn, and that same,
you're gonna need somebody.
That same need you're gonna need for somebody else. Oh, you forgot that you didn't come through. And it's funny because people then they'll you know, they'll be like, oh yeah, they'll start working, but it's too late, kid. You know, when I need something from when you had the chance, you showed me. So, you know.
But if you know, I give people grace. You know, I do, because I know sometimes things come up. I understand that. But if you're a repeat offender with me, you're gonna get to the point where I'm just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Is it if I keep you know kind of work with you and you can't, you know, come through, and you don't tell me to the last minute that you can't do it. Tell me up front I can't do it. That's fine. You can't do it. Let me know up front. Don't tell me at the last minute you can't do it. And you're a repeat offender. That's ridiculous.
What's that saying? You fooled me once, shame on me. Fool
but
me
I
twice.
do it a couple times. Yeah, I give people too many chances probably with that. But but just keep your word. If you say you're gonna do something, do it. Don't be a flake. Just don't. So, all right, that's all I have.
Cool.
All right,
straight to the point.
Straight to the point, right? Don't be a flake. Yeah. That's going to wrap it up for this week's Bottom Line with Roni and Byron. We do appreciate everyone for watching the show. We hope you enjoyed the show last week, our Mother's Day special, One Woman, Many Roles. We want to thank the ladies again for participating. Anna Garcia, Alicia Clemens, Sabrina Clay, Tiffany Garland, Monica White, our head coach over there, Heather Edge, and Fran Kirkman. Thank you all for your participation in our show last week. It was a success. We got a lot of positive comments. So you can always go back and watch it if you want to check it out if you missed it last week. So again, thank you for watching this week's show. We'll be back next week. And remember, when you know the truth, you can speak the truth. And the light shines brighter when it shines for two. We'll see you next week.